this is Valerie Aiello, and you're listening to Idea Diary. Thanks for coming back to my office and hanging out. All right, today I wanted to go over some Neville Goddard tips. I was watching Elmer O. Locklear Jr. I was watching some of his videos. I really appreciate it when people kind of find snippets and little aha moments or things that they can easily describe in somebody's gigantic catalog of work, which Neville Goddard has a huge amount of books and stuff that he's written. And I mean, there's probably gold in every sentence, but it takes a lot to actually read it all or listen to it all. And it's kind of in an old fashioned style of speaking, I guess you could say. And it's not always the easiest thing to concentrate on, at least for me. So I really appreciate it when people do little short snippet videos, kind of sharing what they've read and what they think is powerful. And Elmer is really good at that. So I'm going to link in the show notes a couple videos where he was talking about Neville. And one of the things that he mentioned was from the book called Power of Awareness. And in this book, he talks about chapter 9, which is preparing your place in the future. And Neville says, don't go chase after what you want without changing the concept of yourself. And basically, you have to change your personality and perception to align with the frequency that you want. And everything depends on the concept of yourself. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not making as much money as I want, or I'm not as successful as I want to be, I think the question should be not why isn't my life perfect, but the question should be what do I think about myself? And what can I do to change my self-awareness? And what can I do to make myself believe that I'm as great as, I might think that I am? Because you probably are as great as you think that you are. Just things aren't aligning perfectly at the moment when you're expecting things to be perfect. For example, one of the things that I'm doing to prepare to be mega successful, I'm not right now, but I can imagine making and actually having huge amounts of money. Now, I don't think money is that important. Money isn't really my goal in life, but I think of money as just energy, and money as a result of the things that you can accomplish. And especially, money is the result of what you do for the world or what you can do. I mean, that could be products or services or just making a great record or making a great movie. There are all different kinds of ways that you can bring value into the world. And I feel like money is just the result of how that's magnified. So I kind of think of money in a game sort of way, like it's a puzzle that I have to solve. So there's all this energy, money out there, and I've got to solve the puzzle on how much value I can put out into the world. And then my result will be how much money will be in my possession to manage. I like this chapter 9, preparing your place in the future. I was like, yeah, that really makes sense to me. And I did listen to the chapter. There's an audio version of just that chapter on YouTube. So I will link that in the show notes also. So if you're really organized and really great at reading, maybe just read the whole book or listen to the whole book if you find that you can listen to that and it's pretty easy for you to understand. I I take it in small chunks, there's so much stuff that I want to know about that I've got to kind of organize my time by, okay, I'm going to listen to this today and this next week. And, it's kind of like a crazy mess of notes, but me having this show is helping my brain kind of organize my notes. So another video talking about Neville was from a book called Law of Promise. And I definitely do this. So I have a lot of positive things that I say about myself, these same old things, I always talk about myself being super lucky, and I do feel super lucky. And I joke about being rich. I have all these little inside jokes that I have with myself and my friends, and they're usually all really positive and not necessarily true, but it feels like when I joke about stuff, things end up becoming true. So in the book Law of Promise, Neville talks about this woman who was older, about 55, and she needed a car, a job. She needed like all these things. And she was going to the Neville Goddard conferences. I don't know, whatever they were called back then. I'm not sure. So this might have been in the 40s, maybe. I'm not sure about the exact date of when this basically testimonial for Neville Goddard was written. But this woman, she needed everything, and she felt old, and she felt like she wasn't young enough to make things happen. So she was kind of desperate, and she kind of decided to do what Neville Goddard teaches, which is go to bed thinking about your dream fulfilled, kind of imagining it, making the scene in your head of your dream fulfilled. And she was feeling overwhelmed. So she came up with a phrase, "Isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening to me now." So she kind of put herself in the now and just imagined everything was just solved. All the things that she needed in one fell swoop was solved. And she did end up getting kind of this wealthy friend ended up giving her a check every month of her life that paid for all of her expenses, and she didn't have the worry anymore. And I believe that happened pretty fast when she's telling the story. Neville has a lot of positive things, and if you haven't heard of Neville Goddard, it's definitely something you want to check out. I will put stuff in the show notes below. Another random thing that I did listen to today that I just want to make a note of. So Erika Kullberg, Kullberg. I'll link her in the show notes below. She did a video on happiness and money. And I guess Princeton University did a study, and basically it said money does bring you happiness, but there's a cap. So if you're making over $75,000 a year, that's just like the sweet spot. If you're making more than that, more money doesn't bring you more happiness. But up until that, so 75 to $105,000 a year as a salary, I don't know if that means two married people can make 100,000 or what exactly, but overall in general, Princeton found that more money does not bring you more happiness. It actually can decrease your happiness in some way, or you just kind of get leveled out. Once you hit that $75,000 a year mark, you're I guess the idea is that you feel comfortable and you're not worried necessarily, and maybe you feel like you have a lot of pride in what you do, and those are the things that makes happiness. So it's not actually the amount of money. Overall, prepare a place in the future by changing the concept of self and believing in yourself, even if everything isn't happening exactly how you want it to. I think that maybe doing things make you feel responsible or feel smarter. So, organizing your taxes, like your financial plan in a certain way, preparing for lots of money, or kind of knowing exactly what you're going to do if you did have $1 million, because you're not just going to like put that money in the bank and live your life. You're probably going to invest it in different ways. You're going to probably going to hold it in a way that $1 million grows for you. And just preparing and organizing, practicing. Think of yourself as like an Olympic athlete for the best you. Just kind of start today. Don't worry about what's the reality. Just start working and moving forward. And the show for today. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you later. Bye.